Good Tuesday morning. Hard to believe that we are already to the end of June, and it seems as though 2020 is absolutely flying again. But I do want us to continue our study in Philippians chapter number 4, and want to look at another exhortation where we learn that we are to be rejoicing. A casual glance around us will reveal the reality that a tremendous amount of negativity exists in our world. Our news focuses on such things as COVID-19, riots, protests, police reform. The society in which we are living seems to be falling apart before our very eyes. Further, we're faced with our own personal struggles that often include things such as finances, health, marital issues, jobs. But when we begin to look at all that we see around us, it's honestly very difficult for us to find any occasion for joy. But in Philippians chapter 4 and verse number 4, Paul commanded believers, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. That word rejoice means to be in a state of well-being or a state of happiness. It's qualified further by the word always, a word that would suggest always or at all times. He restates this phrase here at the end of the verse to just simply achieve emphasis. But when I consider this passage, there are several truths that become apparent, truths I believe we must embrace. First, we need to understand obedience is possible. At times it seems as though we relegate certain commands to the ideal Christian life, but we view them as far from reality and maybe even impossible to obey. Admittedly, it may be far from reality, but this command is not impossible to obey. God expects His children to be in a state of joy at all times. Keep in mind, Paul wrote this letter while he was imprisoned. The second truth we have to embrace is that God's perspective is often different. As believers, we tend to develop the world's perspective in ways that we do not even comprehend. One of those ways in how we perceive circumstances. What we see as being negative, God often sees as beneficial. We must strive then to develop God's perspective on the matters. Finally, we must focus on God, not on our circumstances. The natural tendency is to focus on our circumstances, whatever they may be. But when we do so, we begin seeing God through our circumstances. As a result, our circumstances become huge, while our God becomes small. Instead, we must focus on God. Doing so makes God big and our circumstances small. You see, it's really all about perspective. I don't know what you may be going through today, but I want to challenge you. Learn to dwell in a state of joy at all times. If you develop that perspective for your life, I assure you, it will revolutionize your life. Thank you so much for joining us today. God bless. Hope you have a great day. Go serve the Lord faithfully, whatever He's got for you. God bless. Take care.